Alright, so it should be in sync. Right there. Yeah. One time I did a whole thing. I did my Llorona thing, and I hit the button. I hit stop, and then that very second, like a millisecond later, I thought I had to hit stop again or something like that. Like I forgot that I hit stop. And then a split second later, I was clicking it again, and then it went 3, 2, 1, like it was counting down. I was like, wait. Did I record anything? I was like, wait, why is it count? Up like a split second, I already forgot that I hit stop, like literally a second before. It was dumb. I was scared, and I had to go back, and I looked at the bill. I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. Because I was like, man, I didn't feel like talking about all that shit again. It was like the movie. Everybody keeps asking me, was it good? Like for a horror, if you're a horror fan, you're like, yeah, go see it. I mean, it's scary enough. But I don't know if I'm becoming immune to horror.
Who was in it? Who started it?
The main act. I can't remember the names. There. When you see the cast, I'm gonna have to pull them up. When you see the cast, how bad is this camera in your way? Is it?
No, it's good. It's good.
What about this? I can slide this over a little bit more, huh? So it's not too bad, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's cool.
I can minimize that now. Let me pull up a thing. Do I need 2 screens? I want to just make this one screen. I don't need to restore. What was it? Curse, La Llorona, cast. It's like when you see them, you recognize them. Yeah. Is this like Linda Cardella? I've seen her in a bunch of other stuff. I just can't remember now. Like what? Like in some comedy somewhere? Like, okay, Thelma. She's Thelma from Scooby. That's what I remember. I was like, dude, I know this actress. And like I know I had a crush on her for a reason.
She played the wife in Green Book too.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Green Book yet.
Oh yeah, man, you gotta see it. You gotta see Green Book.
I don't know if I'm protesting Green Book because of
it winning.
Not because of it winning, but because the family of the black character, they have a total different outlet.
It didn't go down
out like that. Yeah, it's like that's your version. Like they weren't friends.
But you know what? Well, if they wasn't friends, then yeah. But it wasn't like they didn't make the black person, the black guy, like highlight. Yeah. They highlighted him.
I heard that they didn't have a problem with that. It's just the whole. I used to have a broker that was a racist dude that was prejudiced. Anything he was very pro-black, but but on top of being pro-black, he was anti-white. And he was like, that's the thing that he would say all the time. When in a lot of ways, it's kind of true. He would say stuff like, "There you go again, white folks trying to increase the legend of their history for no reason, even more than what it was, and something like that." But everybody does that.
Now, if you want to see it, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But
make sure you stay on camera too, because it is recording. So
yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but they showed I can't remember the main guy, but they showed him being prejudiced towards blacks. Yeah, at first, that's how he was a prejudice. And then,
but to make the movie good, he grew and learned, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, like near the end, he just for the fact that he was playing as his bodyguard too,
because he had a job to do.
He had a job to do, and so he had to look. He was getting paid to look after this black guy, and then seeing how he was and being amazed at his talent, kind of like
warmed up to him a little bit.
He kind of changed his mind about black folks.
I guess they all are chicken eating watermelon, something like that.
He found out in the movie he don't like chicken. He's like, "You don't like chicken?"
Yeah. Like, how will you survive? I'm like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the rest of your life? You can't just eat watermelon all day. But I think I don't know, man. Something about, I'm going to probably see it. It's just something about.
Watch it, man.
I just want that family, if they do have a protest, because everybody has the right to make a movie. I mean, just because the descendants of the white guy especially when the times were changing, of course that guy was going to tell the best version of that story to him. But if times didn't change and if it was still like 1955 today, I'm sure he wouldn't have changed the word of that story. I had to drive that motherfucker around. I kept him alive, and keep him away from my daughter. And that's the version. But every decade that went by, I'm sure the story got better and better and better. And then we played cards, and then in the 80s it was like we played cards and we had a bro hug, and then in the 90s it was like I had to fight for him. And then by 2000s it was like, man, he was like my best friend. Like the second, like I'm sure that's what happened. But like as the decades went by, that story got better and better. But I'm sure it stayed consistently the same on the black side of it. Like, no, they ain't friends. No, he did a job. He did his job. That's what he was paid to. Like, because they say, especially when it's a job that you're getting paid for. Like, why are you asking for extra attention or extra this or that for doing your job? This is your hired job. It's like you want a parade to be like you said, you work for the post office and whatnot. You go to work and you do a great job. That doesn't mean that the government owes you a parade, because they owe you a paycheck. Yeah, they already paid you. They paid you already. You got your parade in the mail in the check, But I mean, it's nice to be acknowledged and all that, especially if a movie deal is about to come out. Like, hell yeah, I want the acknowledgement. But
now I wish. The only thing with Green Book, I wish that it was from the perspective of the black guy instead of being the story kind of told through the eyes of the But the descendants of the white guy is the people who made them. I think one of them, like his grandson or something like that, is a filmmaker. Okay, and they said something like they always wanted to tell this story. And that's why it was done so well on his side. And see, the white guy, what I didn't know until like any movie that's a historical movie like that, I go look at factual stuff about the people, and like the articles and stuff that was really out there. Yeah, and I found out that he was a bodyguard, worked at the Copacabana Club, turned into an actor, and I didn't know that. And that's probably how his descendants got into Hollywood. Because I remember he was on MSNBC, and I think he said something like my grandfather or my father, or something like that. And this is his story, and this and that and the other. And then later, after they won the award, I heard the descendants of the black guy were upset. It's not that I'm going to protest the movie just all based on that argument. It's just that I can understand why maybe Hollywood now won't do the black guy's version, because the other the Green Book just came out, and that's already won awards and stuff. So we ain't gonna probably see that other story in theaters for a couple years. They saying they're gonna do a version?
No, they're not. Nobody's saying nothing. So I'm just saying, even if they were trying to that's not gonna happen, because this has already happened. It's too close related. 5-10 years from now, we'll probably be ready. We'll be ready because it'll be out of the heads of people. But I was thinking at least there should be a TV movie or something done on another channel somewhere to give them their chance
to talk more about his profession, like what he did. I think he later on started to work with Quincy Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they say he was one of the best.
He's like a prophet. Yeah,
piano player in the South. And then he went worldwide. Yeah. And worldwide, he was one of the best piano players. And I was like,
no, that's crazy. I definitely got to check it out because that topic happened organically. We just, I want to keep that in there too. That was a good one. What else I was going to say? Okay, I'm going to hurry up and get this out the way because it was the promoter, the ones that's been giving us these movie screening passes and stuff lately. She sent me an email, Janet, and she said, now it says, it used to say Fox, with these X-Men movies. So I'm talking about the Dark Phoenix movie. But now it's the email specifically only said, I thought it was going to say Disney, but it didn't. It just said Marvel Entertainment, This is a Marvel. So I'm sure that they're like while they're transitioning, even though it's already been done, I'm sure they were like the safe thing to say is Marvel, because it's a Fox property, and it's still a Fox property. Just Fox just happens to be owned by Disney now, so they're like they want to promote and market some more that's going on with the X-Men movie that's about to come out, and And I played the you've seen the trailer before already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let me see if I can find it again. I'll play it again because for one thing, I want to test YouTube out, and I want to see if they're going to not block but flag me for using this trailer. Because sometimes when I do a reaction video, it'll get flagged. But I specifically now have been giving the permission through the marketing firm that Fox has hired or Marvel has hired to promote it. And I asked them specifically, can I use it on my blog and the YouTube channel? She said yes.
Okay.
So now that's just a verbal thing between me and this person that's working for the marketing team. Fox might still go to YouTube and flag it, and that's what I'm about to test. So I'm gonna play this real quick. I'm gonna use the actual one. It was Dark Phoenix.
You know what's so funny? I honestly think Disney didn't want this movie to come out.
I'm gonna talk about that after, but I want to see if there's anything from this trailer that I might have overlooked. I'm gonna have it fresh in my head. You can't hear it, can you?
No.
All right, that means the sound. I gotta let's see what I can do here. Let me fix something. You might be able to hear it through my headphones. Let's see what I'm doing. Make sure that that's still playing good.
If that being, I've seen the trailer.
Yeah. So,
gentlemen.
All right, so I can hear it through my headphones now, so that's going to be loud enough where we'll be able to hear it. But let me play it now.
Ladies and gentlemen of NASA, this is Charles Xavier. Help is on the way.
We're doing
So
space
we're talking with NASA.
Cool.
We've been dealing with NASA or helping them out, so something's happening to the shuttle.
Go.
They're trying to rescue
signature's rising
the
fast.
astronaut.
We gotta get out of here.
Where's Jean?
Where is she?
I'm sure she was supposed to get in and get out. And I'm sure the Phoenix powers probably kept her in there
She
or
should be
something
dead.
like that.
Did you hear what the kids are calling you? Phoenix.
Hello, Jean.
So you said Jessica Chastain's character is the one you're confused about.
Yeah.
Is she Lalandra?
She's Lalandra. They.
This control. Bad things happen.
I don't even know for sure she's an alien. What is she? A mutant? What is
But
she?
it feels good.
That power
I can.
destroyed everything
She's
that ever
some.
came
She
before.
The
seems
way
to be
she.
intergalactic. I don't know.
Yeah, the way she looked like the White Queen.
The next
Okay. Yeah.
But
and what
I don't think that's who she is.
Seek to destroy.
You have to probably go to IMDb and double check. I have to give it to some of the people who. It was kind of interesting how Storm just automatically just joined the X-Men after the end of that fight. You're like, yeah, can I join you guys?
Not Jean anymore.
Which was fine with me. I mean, she had to join someone.
Are you threatening me?
That's right.
That would be a bad idea.
So, is that Scott that she grabbed out of forehead?
That's what it looked like.
So I agree with a lot of people's criticisms on it, where they say like the similarities between Dark Phoenix and Last Stand. Like in the trailer alone, it looks like from the very beginning, she's gonna kill a major character, just like she did with Scott on Last Stand, whether he's dead or not. Well, they didn't reboot it, so they didn't continue on with it. So let's just say he died, and they're obviously gonna do the same thing with Jennifer Lawrence's character, because it looked like the very first fight she kills him, and because Jennifer Lawrence has been trying to get out of this for a minute,
and she's doing this all in a suburb neighborhood,
the suburb neighborhood where if I don't know if they got a it would be hilarious if they use that exact same Stan Lee clip. With the water hose going, water going up, just use it again. That would be hilarious. I want them to do that. And what else? The third thing was Magneto, with Magneto having a subway car full of people. Remember that fight that he had with Logan in the subway? Like, okay, so now and another thing, you got Magneto in a subway car again, tearing up stuff. So now you're doing that again, but obviously that's cooler. You brought a subway car with you, and those people were in there. I'm sure the second the thing stopped at the house, I'm sure the people got out in the back of it, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, the second he stops dragging his damn thing, I'm jumping.
The only thing that I even see that's different is them going into space.
The only thing that they never did was finally going to space, which would have been cool. But the way the trailer kind of starts off with is like, it has to be some mind control going on there because of how Charles Xavier just sitting there all smiling like, all right, NASA, we got it from here. They're like, NASA ain't gonna let y'all just take some stuff over, even if it is a rescue mission. Like, who were you?
Especially humankind being against mutants. Like, why are we trusting you?
I'm like, okay, if unless after the events that happened in
the last
in the previous X-Men, they appreciate him a little bit more, but it's probably mind control. It's probably like, y'all stand down, we got it. We got a guy that can teleport, and another person that can move things with a mind, and it'll be an easier rescue mission. And this is probably like the spread their propaganda. This is probably supposed to be a peace mission that proves mutants can be useful and helpful to mankind as it slowly evolves. But then when the Phoenix Trap happens, this is going to be like, you see, you damn dirty mutants. If you wouldn't have been up there, that power product could have gone to an astronaut or something like that. Watch, it's going to be something. But either way, I can see the people's criticisms on it, but my theory is it's only because they want to be critical of it because they're just so ready for Marvel Studios to take over. That's all.
And as I was saying, I don't.
Damn.
I guess somebody don't want me to say what
exactly. Gene, like, be careful. But no, we're still rolling. We're still good. Go ahead.
Nah, I really don't think Disney and Marvel Studios or the MCU.
What is going on with all that?
It's kind of shortage.
It's probably the room. I'll double check because sometimes I have problems with that switch. Unless, I don't know, but I'll find out. But no, so go ahead.
Yeah, man. I really don't think they wanted to come out with this movie. And
I thought it would have been a good idea to save it for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I'm not stepping on nothing.
Let me make sure. Oh yeah, because now it's the whole room. Let me go find out what's going on. Hopefully I can be able to edit that out. Okay, it's not. It's happening all over. It's weird. Oh. I try to edit it out as best as I can, but let's see what's going on. We'll keep each segment short, but go ahead. No, just finish your thought though, definitely.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that is because, well, for one, I think they just went ahead and let it go ahead because it was a part in time where I didn't hear anything about it. I seen
they kept pushing it.
Yeah, they kept pushing
the release,
and I didn't see any really marketing till about right now.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, they not coming out with this movie. Then all of a sudden I seen, boom! It was a poster in the movie theater. And I said, okay. And I think Fox, and this was right before the merger.
Everything that Fox was already in the middle of producing and already greenlit, the merger wasn't going to cancel that. I just think that like you're right. I just think that Fox wanted to hurry up and have one last. This is ours. We made this, and this is how we're gonna end our legacy with all these X-Men movies that we've done. But that to me puts added pressure on it. Like if the last thing that Fox ever did was like the Logan movie, that would have been a way to end it. That would have been an awesome way. That wasn't the last X-Men movie. The last one was the Apocalypse one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
was it?
I don't know whichever came. If Logan was last, that would have been a good way to end it.
Yeah.
But even with Apocalypse, I mean, because the word Apocalypse means the end as well. That still would have been a good bookmark. And it was the third one. They did 3 with the old cast, 3 with the new cast. They've already had a crossover with the old and new. We had Logan. That would have been it.
That should have been it. Yeah.
I think this would have only have benefited Fox if the Disney merger wasn't happening, and they were just gonna because this would have kept it going. But
and like you mentioned before, this should have been a 2-parter.
This should have been a 2-parter. This movie should have been split like maybe a Kill Bill thing because the last similarity between Last Stand and this was. She goes straight to just Dark Phoenix. There's never a light Phoenix. Yeah. She's with the team. She's just new powers, and we're just trying to figure it out. And then she goes crazy, and the Phoenix tries to take over her body. They're to it in a second series, a second part. They never do that. They just go straight to Dark Phoenix, and it's like, what's happening? It's just too much to pack into one thing. Even if you simplify it a little bit, because the majority of the moviegoers aren't like comic book geeks who know the comic book story. They're just regular moviegoers. But even for some reason, it's still not translating well to them. Yeah. They're like, okay, so she goes in space, this thing hits her, and all of a sudden she's just super evil. Okay, what is that stuff? People want to know what it is. So they should do the Light Phoenix. This movie should have been called Phoenix, and it should have just been her being just super powerful, and them just being like, but she's still nice, and them just being nervous about what it is, but she's still trying to do good, and then at the very end she's like, I feel something because I think in the cartoon Phoenix, the only reason why she went bad was because she just wanted to see what it was like, right? Or in the cartoon she knew, I got powers that I never experienced before, and I'm beyond anybody else. Yeah. So let me flex these muscles. it wasn't no major I want to take over the world thing. It was just because she could. She just wanted to just do it, and that was interesting. That was more scary to me than anything. Just like Thanos, I get, but all powerful being, it's like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna start blowing up planets. That's scary. That's all. I don't know. I feel like they should have went with that, but I don't know. But at the same time, who knows, like, 15, 20 years from down the line. And we might watch this movie, and this might be the best X-Men movie ever made. Everybody's doubting it, but because of the people who have screened it, they're saying certain things that they're nervous about it. So that's why you didn't hear a lot going into it. But I think the marketing of it now is good. The first 3 trailers, there was just giving people too much ammunition to hit on it with. This one makes people go, that's good, that looks good now. But I think it might be a little too late for some people. But like you said, we'll see. What else was going on? You brought this one up. You said you brought Game of Thrones. I wasn't even thinking about it. Oh yeah. So you saw Game of Thrones. You caught up to everything. Yeah. You seen it all? Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I just heard for the first time today that people thought that this episode was boring. Not to me. I don't understand what. Not to me. But it's a setup. It's the first. It's a reuniting of all these characters. That's not gonna be a war. If anybody thought, he's saving the war for the last couple episodes. If anybody thought they was coming in, boom, it's war. No, that would be dumb. No, I wouldn't have wanted that. Like you just got reunited. Hey, hi, no, we got to fight. Like no, that's too much. Like character development. Yeah, it was. I love the reuniting of certain people. Oh yeah, the little boy, that he pushed out the window. Man, the way he just stood there. Like, and it's technically not even really him. Now that he's like almost like the Dark Phoenix. Like he's pretty much possessed. He's the 3-eyed Raven. Yeah, he's 100% that thing now, isn't he? So is that boy dead then? Or is he just shrunken down within the subconscious? I think it's shrunken down. Or is he just so powerful that he doesn't consider himself who he used to be? Yeah. That's the question. Wait. What do you think? Like, which one do you think is more likely? I think the best comparison is when you say he's like the Dark Phoenix. Yeah. It's like this thing is taking over him. He remembers who he is and everything. He has all the memories. But he said himself, "I'm not your brother," or something like that. Like he even doesn't.
But I think it's kind of like a double entendre.
He's so evolved. He's like all this brotherly love, family ties.
How you treated me shows me you're not.
Yeah, I don't need to hug you right now, dude. There's something greater going on.
The funny thing is, they trying to make me believe that in that time period they had wheelchairs.
They invented the wheel was invented.
Yeah,
that's not hard for me to believe.
That's not hard for you to believe.
They had horses and buggies.
Okay.
I mean, it's the obvious thing. Make a buggy that's smaller. It's easy for
outside of this. I've never seen it.
It would have been. We can Google it. I mean, that's what. While you're laughing, you probably have stumbled upon. That was probably one of the most Googled things after that episode. A wheelchair. Would it be a medieval wheelchair? That's one. Yeah, it comes up to second. I had to type in medieval and wheel.
Oh, they got pictures.
It's maybe Galileo came up with it. Yeah, see, these are later designs. There's no way you're gonna convince me that's a medieval wheelchair.
And then when you say medieval, that's like knights and
that's
kind of Victorian.
That's that time period.
Yeah.
I want to see years on this thing. It says 15. Now this would be before then. What years would you say if this was the Middle Ages? Would have been like the year like 900, not 15.
Not 15. It's early.
Maybe like 11, 12, something like that. It would maybe a little bit after the death of Christ.
It's a little bit after Christ.
Yeah, so maybe the third. Maybe I would say 500. What is the medieval time periods and stuff? So that's the question. I'm like, maybe you're right. Because here's a wooden one. Now this looks more modern.
Modern, yeah. That's like more modern. It's a Victorian.
That's a
Victorian age.
And medieval wheelchair. See, I imagine it big, and his was kind of big, but it was still high up, sit up.
His was like,
I imagine theirs would have been like
X's.
Yeah, exactly. It was a wooden Professor X. His a medieval one, I would imagine, where you kind of like lay down a little bit, where you kind of recline.
Now they did that.
Push you.
They did that.
I think they had that a little bit, but if they have him like on future episodes where he's like, not to make fun of people in wheelchairs, like where he's able to wheel himself, which I think he can.
It almost looked like it. Yeah.
I think maybe somebody was pushing him, but if he's like able to recline, like the way a modern wheelchair is able to recline and do tricks and stuff like that, I think that would be too much. But at the same time, it's not our universe. It's an off world where magic it kind of exists and all that stuff too. So who knows where who knows where technology will be with a world like that? It could be almost like the foundation of like a He-Man world where science and sorcery exist together and stuff. But I don't know. But you're right. It doesn't seem to be too much. On the medieval wheelchair.
Theory and prediction. Who would you say is going to be
on that throne?
Yeah, at the end of everything.
I would have said Snow and Khaleesi. Mm-hmm. But then Sean brought up something that makes I can't now. I'm mad that he said it. He suggested it because now I can't shake it.
Can't get out. You mad.
Because he says that Khaleesi, even though it's understandable with all the stuff that she's been through, because she started off trying to be nice, a liberator. She freed people. She tried to be nice, but people kept trying to test her and think she was weak. So she's hardened since she started, but she's becoming a bully, and it's almost as if it's the foundations of Cersei herself. Like maybe Cersei was not that bad of a woman in the beginning, but then more and more people kept testing her and pushing her and making her upset because she started off as a brat
and killing off all her kids
and started killing off her kids and stuff. It just makes her more and more dangerous. Khaleesi's already lost one baby dragon. Yeah. She's already lost one, and she's getting meaner and meaner. The more dragons she loses, she seems to get more like she's in a situation where, all right, I lost one. I got to make these two dragons act more hardcore because I want to keep them alive and keep them safe because I got to keep my people safe. Because the less dragons she has, the less influence she has. So now that she's down one, not only that, it's gone over to the other side. She knows she's in that much more. She's that much could be looked at as that much weak. So I think that's what's making her more tough. So Sean thinks that she's gonna flip and try to betray Jon, especially when she finds out that that's his nephew and that they're actually that he's actually the direct heir. Because it doesn't matter that she's the oldest. The former oldest, it's the Mufasa Simba situation. Uncle Scar wants the throne, but now that the son was born, he's out of the picture now. And he thinks that the second she finds that out, she's gonna betray him and try to take the throne, because she's gotten to a point where she's done so. Everybody feels like they've gone through so much hardships and pains and trials and tribulations that they are all old. They all have that in common. They all feel like their struggle, except for Jon. Jon's the only one willing to give it up. That's why he deserves it. But everybody feels like, even Cersei, everybody feels like they've gone through so much shit that they deserve it. And Khaleesi has dragons, so she's gonna make her case very known. Not only do I feel like I've been raped, I've been this, I've been that, I've been freeing people, y'all been betraying me, and I got dragons. Fuck this. We're gonna do it. So I hope that Khaleesi will. I don't care. We've already had a brother and sister having sex already. People already kind of gotten used to it. Bloodline royalty always keeps it in the family anyway to keep the blood pure. I don't care that they're nephew and aunt. I hope she hears that he's a Tyrian or whatever that word is. Tyrian. Acknowledges it, respects her brother, even though her brother was an asshole. But that's still his heir. It's rightfully his. Respects that, and takes the knee the way he was willing to do for her. Because the end result will still be the same. Even if she's the main queen, like Queen Elizabeth, and offering him a crown, but at a lesser state, it's still almost the same thing. He's still your husband. Like you gonna have a submissive husband? They didn't do that a lot back then. Only a few queens could actually pull that off, but she got dragons. So it would almost be the same. It would almost be like nothing would change. It would just be who people would come into the door with the problem and acknowledge first. So is she gonna put her ego in the way and say, no, I want to be that first point of contact, the Most High? Or am I going to acknowledge that you're actually rightfully the person to be Most High? But if they fall in love and share it together, it would almost be the same thing anyway. But he feels like egos are about to get in the way. And Jon Snow is like, I don't give a shit. But everybody else around him is not going to see it that way. Like, this is even more proof that you should be the king. We were just calling you the king of the north. It turns out you're a Tyrian or Tyrian or whatever. Now you're really the damn king. Like, no, like, she's got to go. Like, just marry the girl and this whole thing is over. But I think that's what's going to happen at the end.
What about
I think they're going to fight.
I'm sorry, Lannister is the name. Lannisters.
The Lannisters are the Lannisters are the bad guys, that bad guy family. No, the Tyrian.
Tyrion Lannister is the imp. Tyrion Lannister. That's
what is Khaleesi? Khaleesi is a what? What's that word? Those with the white hair, the drag. Like her older brother who died is actually Jon Snow's birth father, and who married had a baby with a Snow. She's a
Lannister. See.
No, the Lannisters are the evil family.
It says Lord Tyrion Lannister is the youngest child of Lord Twin Lannister and younger brother of Cersei and Jaime Lannister.
Yeah. No, he's a Lannister. No, I'm talking about Snows. I'm talking about this. And then his sister Cersei married a Snow who in the beginning she had him killed and tried to kill. No, she was married to what? She was. Let me see. She was married to the Mad King.
The Lannisters and I used to know.
All these
families,
names.
Yeah.
The Lannisters are the
they're the bad.
I wouldn't say they. Khaleesi is a Tyrian.
Tyrian.
Yeah, that's what Khaleesi is.
But not Tyrion.
Her brother
Tyrion is the imp's name. Peter Dinklage's name.
Oh, am I saying the name wrong? What is Khaleesi?
Let's see. Jon Snow. Targaryen.
Targaryen. That's the word I was. Targaryen. She's a Targaryen. Jon Snow is half Targaryen.
Yes.
And I guess it was the Targaryens.
And then you got the Starks.
I guess the Targaryens were the ones who originally were sitting on the throne, who was the king of all the kingdoms, and then they split them up, I guess. And and then Khaleesi's brother who had to die because he was getting crazy.
You don't think Tyrion Lannister? Whatever they do, they're gonna do what's the most satisfying to the audience.
I don't agree with that.
You don't think so?
Not the way they started off by killing like anybody could die at any moment.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing that puts the audience on edge all the time.
I have two scenarios that I think they're gonna do. They're gonna put on that throne whoever's the most satisfying, or they're not gonna put anybody. When they're all said and done, nobody gets the throne.
I think they've proven that they're like after that red wedding and stuff like that, they don't give a damn about what anybody feels. That's what I think. That like none of y'all.
But you gotta ask yourself, who did they, other than like the Stark family, like in the beginning? I knew when I first started watching
the Snows. You mean? Or
no, the Starks. That's
the Starks.
The John. He's adopted son of the Starks.
Right.
When they killed off the father.
What am I getting the word Snow from?
Because that's his name that he took upon.
Because he's a bastard, he had to call himself Snow. Yeah, but he's actually a Stark.
He's a Stark.
That's right. I keep thinking about Tony.
So that's when I first started watching. They killed them off. I was like,
yeah, okay,
this show's gonna go anywhere. I was not expecting them to.
In the first couple of seasons, like they escaped with the mother too, right? There was a mother. What? So that's what I was confused about. The Cersei had the Stark family. Was the Stark family just separate, and they were next in line to take the throne? Next in line to take the throne, and because when the Mad King was dead, and she didn't because they had kids. So why wouldn't her kids be next in line? Or some kind of arrangement where the Snows were just next in line.
Yeah, and I don't really.
The Stark father was the hand of the king, wasn't he? That's right. He was the hand of the king. But there was some kind of weird arrangement where if the king died, the queen wouldn't take over. It would go straight to the hand to the Starks.
And off the top,
and
they called him in and beheaded
they straight up beheaded. Yeah. Then she just started eliminating them quick
one by one.
Yeah, to make sure that the Lannisters would be in charge. Yeah. I forgot about how that all began and whatnot. Like it was some kind of a weird arrangement where I think maybe the king probably decreed it, and she was probably challenging because he was the Mad King. He was fucking crazy. Like why wouldn't our kids? Well, you want to know? Here it is. I think I remember why. You want to know why I don't think they want to give the throne to the kids? Because it's been rumored that those ain't really my kids. That's you and your brother's kids. I've just been letting it slide, and I ain't. But so because of that, I'm gonna give it to the Starks. That's what she was pissed off about. But oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't feel like a happy ending is guaranteed. I feel like they've proven that. Like I feel like Peter Dinklage might end up on that damn throne. That's what
I was saying. If not Dinklage,
that would be ironic.
But to me, that's the satisfying because he's the most popular.
That would be the only satisfying argument. Like if Jon Stark is dead,
that's another one.
If Jon is dead, if Khaleesi is dead, and Cersei is dead, the only other person I would see that I would be okay with would be obviously one of the sisters. Yeah, but like I said, if all of them die, of course, Peter Dinklage would be. That would to me be the ultimate irony because only one other time or a couple of times in this series. Like, wasn't there a war that was happening and they followed? Like he gave a rousing speech. They followed half. They called him Half Man. And he fucking won the war. And then somebody else took the credit for it. like shit like that just kept happening to him. Like he started off not caring. Yeah. Then all of a sudden being the best thing for the whole family, for all families. But how awkward do you think it was for the two characters, for Peter Dinklage's character and the Stark sister, the older sister, for them to be reunited again after that honeymoon that never happened, and for that, and then later to get raped by that crazy dude that everybody wanted to die and stuff. Like she been through a lot,
and you see how she turning out. She's turning out.
She's getting dark. Talk about Dark Phoenix. Yeah, she's turning into a Dark Phoenix right now.
Yeah.
Who do you think will win between the fight between those dragons and the Dark Phoenix?
Those dragons.
You think the dragons would?
Dark Phoenix? Dark Phoenix.
Watch, it would probably be something weird like dragons are immune to mutant powers or something like that. It would have to be some way to balance it out because telekinesis, you could just bump those dragons into each other and just knock them out. But who knows? I don't know, man. I feel like Khaleesi is a wild card. She's supposed to be this great savior, but stories like this. Watch, something's gonna happen. She's gonna get pissed off and try to get greedy.
It could go anywhere. I heard
she's a flip of the coin.
I heard that Cersei might turn into one of the White Walkers.
I heard that too. John Campion talked about that a little bit. That I never thought of, but that it would make sense because like I said, they were saying like her heart is already stone cold and stuff. Like no. I think John was actually right. Like she still is sort of redeemable in that time period. Yeah, she's kind of redeemable. Today in this world, no, she got to go to jail for life on death row. But back then, it's you can kind of see her point on being so hardcore and being so tough. Because you still rooted for her when like the religious group put her through all that crap, stuff, and then she came back and got it all. Even though what she did to that woman was messed up with what was it, the mountain? Oh, remember at the end, where she's like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna kill you." Like this is Meet the Mountain. You know, he's known for raping, and then she calls it up shame. I was like, "Oh, you was kind of rooting for that, but like not like that, man. Come on, just kill the woman. Man. You blew everybody up, and then you're gonna have her get raped by the mountain because she whipped you a little bit." Oh man, so Cersei ain't the one to mess with.
Nah, not at all.
If they, because she doesn't care about this war. She's like, they just the White Walkers just toppled that wall, and she was like, good. Like what is so that to me would be the ultimate way she should die. Because okay, let's say they win the war, and then what? The White Walker King, like she's like maybe they win the war. His army's defeated. And in the middle of her trying to betray everybody, she gets defeated too, and she sees an opportunity. If they're not gonna ever let me get the crown that I deserve, so let me take your powers, and maybe he hands it to her, or maybe they become a couple. Like he kills her and says, "I'll take you as my queen." Because every person that he turns into a White Walker is a slave to him. But could she be attractive enough or cunning enough to the point, or maybe you actually get the status? Well, if you're a king and get turned into a White Walker, yeah, I'm going to turn you into a slave because I conquered you. But if you're a powerful, kick-ass queen, I could see him finally be like, yeah, I want that too. So I'm not gonna make you a slave. I'm gonna make
my equal.
Make you a symbol. Wouldn't it be funny though? Like you're supposed to still kind of be a slave, but you're still my queen. But then she still remembers her life enough to know, fuck that, I'm gonna take over. I take over and then betrays him.
That would be funny. Good. That would be. I like that story.
Like even in death, she ain't taking shit from nobody. And then she turns her brother into a White Walker, and they become the king and queen of the White Walkers. That'd be nasty. That'd be crazy. Like even death couldn't enslave her mind. Like no, I'm the boss. Like I would think that would be kind of a comedy way of doing it. But
another thing, I'm going back, that threw me off is when they chopped her brother's hand off. Yeah, that
I
didn't expect it.
That pissed me off. I'm just checking the time. Okay, 3 minutes in. That pissed me off because that dude was messing with him because he was a hostage that he was supposed to keep alive and take over. But that dude. Didn't he wind up getting revenge on that dude and finally kill him? Yeah. Like, dude, like you didn't have to do that. Like everything you did to that man, you really doing it to yourself 10 times over. You know you don't fuck with these people, right? Like, but I give it to him. That dude, he didn't give a shit. That the whole reputation of the Lannisters and all that, he did not care. And that's one thing the Lannisters don't like. People that don't fear them. Yeah. It was like that. What's that other dude? The Battle of the Bastards. That other dude that kept torturing old boy. Like I'm glad he's gone. Oh, remember him? That something dude. The black. He wasn't a Lannister or nothing like that. He was another family, but he was just an ass. Oh man. To me, now that we find out that not only that Jon Stark isn't It was never a Snow or never a Stark. That he was actually what was it, Targaryen, whatever, and all that stuff. To me, that negates the whole episode of the Battle of the Bastards. Yeah, 2 bastards, and then one earns his family's name. And it turns out you had another name the whole time. You was never even a damn Stark. You were half Stark on your mother's side. Not your father's side. It was your mother's side. You're actually a Targaryen. So that Battle of the Bastards thing was not fair to the other guy, because John was never a bastard. He was going to win no matter what. Oh, you're the only bastard here. So, I don't know. That's just me being nitpicky and stupid, but I don't know. What else? You said you haven't seen... I went to go see La Llorona yesterday, and based on everything you said, so you said you're not interested in seeing that one, that one at all. It was okay.
I haven't seen. Only one I seen was The Conjuring. I never seen The Nun. I never seen Conjuring 2.
You gotta see Conjuring 2. I mean, the Conjuring ones are good.
The Conjuring 2 was good.
Yeah, the Conjuring ones are good. Annabelle was criticized for not being that great, but Annabelle 2 was good, just as good as The Conjuring. Just as good. It was up there. It was on that par, and that's why people are excited about Annabelle 3, because it's not just because she comes to this is her finally getting brought to that house, but it's almost like it's the first official, like, really crossover type of thing. So people, but based on how well Annabelle 2 did, they're thinking that if they follow that same formula, Annabelle 3 should be fine. The Nun I thought was scary, but I can see why it wasn't on par. Same thing. I thought the same thing about A Curse of La Llorona, but I thought the cool thing about that was the fact that it actually was a folklore tale that actually does exist in Mexico, or in the Spanish or Mexican culture, where they tell us that story, scary story that they tell their kids and whatnot. Maybe it's based on something that did happen, and then over the years they just kind of exaggerate a little bit to fit their needs. Oh yeah, you heard about that crazy lady that used to live on the street that drowned her kids? Yeah, eat your food or she gonna come and kill you. And then ever since that day, it just mushroomed into one of those kind of stories.
Who would you say is one of the standout actors in there?
Let me go back to the cast. The priest that helped the family. Curse of La Llorona cast. You'll recognize him. He Raymond Cruz. And it's like he's one of those actors where you've seen him in all these other things, but yeah, he was that crazy gangster on one episode of Better Call Saul and from Breaking Bad. Yeah, he was that dude, and he looks way different in his younger pictures. Like, look at that dude looks young as hell,
suave.
And ever since he cuts the beard off, this is he's been in a lot of things, and that's how he's looking now.
Oh wow.
His character was fun. Like, you could tell this dude, like, he played a priest who he saw the value of religion and science to help people and to do these exorcists and stuff like that. So he's like, the church has their ways, science has their ways. We ain't mixing it, so you can't be with the church anymore. So he was still in the neighborhood, helping people, but with all these unorthodox ways of blessing people and protecting people with religion and stuff like that. But the church itself just didn't recognize it. So when they went, the priest that they originally went to, which, and that's the crossover, it was the same. If you watch Annabelle, the second Annabelle movie, the priest that they got to come at the end of the movie, and after they got rid of the demon or stopped the threat, he's like, I'll take the doll. I think I know some people that can take it. This was probably maybe after he made that delivery, but he was in the movie. And then they saw Raymond Cruz out in the street blessing people who just lost their kids and stuff. And he was like, he used to be a priest and this and that and the other, and we kicked him out the church. But he still would give blessings and say, he gives praise to God and all that stuff. And then the mother character was like why are you're blessed? You're thanking God. Like, I thought you weren't a priest anymore. It's like, I thought you left the church. He's like, no, the church. He said, I left the church. I never left God. That's a difference. So that was, he's like, I still believe what I believe. I just also believe this other stuff too. And it works. So So the church was like, this is the crazy part. The church was like, we have a waiting period for stuff like this. Like we need, like there's a demon in my house, or a ghost or whatever trying to kill my kids. I need your help. I'm like, well, there's a waiting list. Well, we gotta call the church, and we gotta, and then somebody's gonna come down and this and that. I can't just go and do it. I gotta get permission from the church.
You just gotta sit with your demon for a while.
Exactly. So it's like it could take months, and we're like, my kids don't have months. They killed them other kids in like a day. Like my kids, we need help now. He said, all right, I got an idea. It's unorthodox, but if anybody asks, you didn't hear it from. It was kind of like that. I'll recommend you to this other dude who used to be a part of this church. But if anybody asks, but if you get his help, then the church can never help you. So she was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." And but he knew what he was talking about, and he did his thing.
Now I'm looking at this younger picture of him. Is that actually him or old boy from that '70s show?
That does look like an old dude. That does look like Fez. Fez from that '70s show. Yeah. But then you see this, like this was from this is in Training Day. Yeah, I forgot he was in Training Day. Yeah. He's always been typecast as that gangster. That old school, that OG Mexican gangster. Mm-hmm. And then here he goes from
Better Call Saul
and Breaking Bad. Cause his character was crazy on that when he bought he was one of my favorite dudes. Mm-hmm. But he's played a cop I think before. But whatnot. But he he was the breakout star. He was the one that stood out. Like because he played his character to the point where like little stuff like he would talk to the kids to console them and stuff. He's like, it's okay if you're scared. Everybody gets scared. And the little boy's like, were you scared? He's like, no. It's like little stuff like that. Like he was getting gangster the whole time. Like that was the breakout stuff. He did that like 2 or 3 times in the movie. It was like and at the end of the movie, another thing that every time they would do something to prove that his powers were real and stuff like that. The family would doubt it. Like, this is stupid. What are we doing here? And then all of a sudden something weird would happen, and then it was like something with eggs or something like that. And then like if the darker the blood, like this egg's about to be filled with blood, and the darker the blood means that the greater the threat. So he cracks the egg open, and it was just like tar, black. That's how close the demon was. And then on the other egg started spinning around on themselves by themselves, and then they exploded, and all that black blood came out of nowhere, and he was all like, ta-da! That was his catchphrase. He did a couple times in the movie. He was like, because it was like, man, this is a trick. This is a bullshit trick. And then like, how you gonna these are eggs. Like, how did I this is 1973. How did I make 3 eggs spin by themselves, pretty much float in the air, and then break open by themselves? You didn't see no explosions or nothing in there, and this black stuff is in it. How did I do that? Like, no. Like, this is 1973. Like, I couldn't do that. And he was like, that was his little catchphrase, ta-da! So yeah, you still think it's a trick? Like, no, this shit is real. But he was the breakout. He was the breakout star. But the only thing that I would think, like the nun, turned out the nun wasn't a ghost. She was a demon, right? And Annabelle. Annabelle, it changed like 3 or 4 times. First, it was the doll that was possessed. Then it was the doll is a beacon for a demon. It calls for a demon. It's not really the doll. It's a demon, but the demon attaches himself to the doll, and he uses the doll to make people scared and do what he wants. And I think on the Annabelle Homecoming, now it's not a demon, not just a demon. The doll is a beacon for spirits now. I think the way they did the movie, my theory, especially how the way it ended, I don't think La Llorona was a ghost. I think, because they said that, like, okay, one of the original folklores was a beautiful woman in Mexico, and she had kids, and she had a husband. It was great. Her husband dies. She remarries to a rich man, but the rich man loves her, wants her, but he never wants kids. So to appease him, she kills her kids to appease him. Then she regrets it, and then she gets the curse and becomes what she becomes. And the reason why she kills kids is because she's trying to replace the kids that she killed. And then, but in this movie, it was her husband that she loved was having an affair, and in a bit of rage, she killed her kids because she knew that the two boys were the loves of his life. Like that was his most pride and so to make him feel the best way to get him back was to kill her kids. And the second she did it, she regretted it. And then it was something about how where she did it in a forest, in a river, and the trees that she did it in front of, and all of nature and stuff. It was like they like all of nature was a witness to it, and all her rage and her anger and her sadness and her hate, and it was what turned her into what she became, an immortal being of hate and rage of trying to kill kids. And if you hear her, and she's just constantly crying, and if you hear her crying, that's it. That means she's imprinting herself to you to try to get you.
Sounds like a banshee.
Yeah, so like that. You hear the banshee, banshee. But one of the weird things I remember, I didn't think about it until I was in the middle of watching the movie. Especially a kid. I mean, not just a kid, but even you. If you were walking down a hallway, or in a public place or in a semi-public place and whatnot, and you heard a woman crying, what would your first instincts be?
Go towards the crying.
Yeah, exactly. To help. That to me was the brilliant thing about this character, because especially a kid is going to be like, oh, somebody's hurt. Especially a mother's son of a woman is like you instantly think of mom. So you're curious, like, is somebody sad? I want to help. And to me, that's like the banshee thing was the perfect thing. The lure of the lure of the siren song, the scream of the banshee. It probably hypnotizes you, which was another power that she had over kids. That's just intriguing on itself. I'm like, okay, you hear a woman crying, you're instantly gonna try to help, and then all of a sudden this bitch just turns on you and comes after you, and it's like, holy shit. So now it's like you become a cynic for the rest of your life. Anybody crying, hey, that's your problem. I'm going like, I ain't going through this shit again. But that to me was I don't think she was a ghost. She had ghostly like powers, demon like powers. I don't know if she's I don't know if she sold her soul to the devil or anything like that, but in the end of the movie, the priest was able to use a cross that was made, something about it was made from the same wood of the type of wood in the forest where she killed her kids, where the curse starts. It's something about the trees that were there that they were a witness to her stuff. So that things from that forest were probably her weakness. So the wood of those trees is what he had as a cross. And the mom got the end of the cross, stabbed her with it, and killed her, and I was like, okay, I can understand the holy water thing and whatnot and stuff like that, but that means that this woman was a physical presence. So I don't think she was a ghost. I don't think so. So if she gets killed in the end like that, that's it. Is she gone? Another theory I had, like in the trailer, it shows a woman mad that her kids got killed. She gets mad, and she gets so mad, and she blames the star of the show, of the movie. She's like, it's your fault that my kids I was keeping my kids safe, and then your child protective services ass came in, and you assumed I was hurting my kids, but I was really protecting my kids from La Llorona. And because you took the kids away from me where I was keeping them safe, La Llorona got them. So I'm mad at you now. So she said, when my kids died, you think that I prayed to God or anything? No, I didn't pray to God. I prayed to La Llorona. I wanted La Llorona to take your kids the way she took my kids, to give me my kids back. And that's why La Llorona imprinted herself onto the Stars kids, because the first mother who lost her kids to La Llorona in the movie asked for it. She's like, look, that bitch got kids too, same age. Take her kids now and give me mine back. Which, in these movies, they're never gonna. What's dead is dead. But she thought that. She was like, so I'm thinking now, the way, if they want to continue the story, I think that you killed La Llorona. I think that woman that from the beginning is gonna become the next La Llorona, because she already like kind of went to the dark side and helped La Llorona anyway. So I mean, she's grieving too. So I think it's called the curse of La Llorona. I'm like, who knows if it could pass on. She was able to easily pass down the curse from her kids and then snitch on another family and say, go fuck with them now. Who's to say that La Llorona doesn't imprint onto her? And
which, if you said she's now somebody killed her, I could see that happening.
Yeah, exactly. She physically was able to kill La Llorona with that cross because of the wood or whatever, which to me indicates that she was still alive. I mean, the incident happened in 63. The movie starts in 73, so it's like 10 years. So she just might be a demon. The forest product, like some demon probably just gave her supernatural powers, and now she's dead. Where did those powers go? I think they probably could have imprint. Now I didn't stay to see if there was a end credit thing or I maybe I should look that up. End credit scene. Rona, probably not. Like this was pretty much the end of this was at the end of the movie. It happened in an attic.
I think is there an end credit scene?
Does Curse La Llorona have a post credit scene? It's probably gonna be yes or no. Conjuring universe, but does the same as it's gonna answer the question. Dr. Mixley Butte. 1973. Years after the Curse of La Llorona opening theaters, late minute scares during its end. What audience might be wondering? There's not. Okay, so it ended where it ended, and I assumed that too. I thought this movie could have an end credit scene, but
she wears like a wedding dress.
She was wearing a white dress. That could act like that. Well, I don't think it was a wedding dress. I think it was just a nice dress, but it did have a veil. And then
that's creepy.
My theory was that she was just a woman who just absorbed a bunch of evil supernatural powers in the wake of what she did, and then it passed on to her. And I think the first victim mother that she did what she did to in this movie, I think if there's going to be a part 2, that makes the most sense to me of who the new La Llorona is going to be. I think the powers are going to go to that new woman, and that's how it spreads. And I think for the fact that the Thelma character stayed alive, and maybe that they won't pass on to her, or maybe she'll come back or something like, I don't know, but. Or maybe the daughter or the son, maybe when they grow up, maybe that's how the curse will continue, and it'll come after their children or something like this. This was in 1973, which means they could have children of their own of this same age now, and she'll come back. That's my theory on it, and I don't know. The movie was good, but. Like I said before, when you see it, you're going to go, all right, that was good. But you're going to be like, it's not going to stay with you.
And when is it supposed to officially come out?
Today.
Okay.
I watched it last night. It came out, the first screenings was like 7 o'clock on Thursday. And it officially came out, today.
Okay.
But, so like, yeah, it's worth the look. Like, The Nun was worth the look. But after I watched The Nun, I had no lingering feelings about it. Like, Conjuring kind of stayed with me. Like, damn, that creeped me out. Annabelle stayed with me. But
it all depends on box office.
Yeah.
But like I said, I really didn't see no bunch of promotion for this movie.
I'm trying to remember in The Conjuring if I saw a dress or anything like that. Maybe because she wore a necklace too. Maybe the necklace was there. Like what would they keep to keep La Llorona in check? I don't know what it would be. Maybe the necklace, but it felt like this family kept that, and they wouldn't have gone. I don't see a connection to getting into the Conjuring family, so that would explain if La Llorona is still out there. She wore a necklace, and it was something.
What kind of necklace?
It was a necklace that her husband gave to her as a gift, and she still had it around her neck, and it was able to be taken off of her. And I thought, okay, does that mean you have power over her now? Not really. The boy picked it up and kind of showed La Llorona that he had it, and for a second she chose to chill out turn her face into what she normally looked like, and kind of like realized what she was doing was bad, and then something happened when then she freaked out again and turned back into like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill y'all.
Did she ever get the necklace back or no?
After that she didn't give a shit about the necklace. So it was like, okay, so
I was gonna say probably that powers within the necklace.
Yeah, exactly.
Place it on someone else. They get
maybe now that she's dead, maybe. But you could argue that maybe that other woman that I was talking about probably found it and picked it up and absorbed the powers of La Llorona. But the necklace didn't. They showed the necklace because it was a gift from the husband. It was a symbol of the betrayal, I guess, in her aunt. So maybe the rage could pass on through the. There you go. Yeah, that could be the relic. You put that on. Like, you can put it on if you want to, but if you find out your husband cheated on you, you might want to take it off because some bad shit is gonna. That thing is cursed. Like, maybe if they easily want to explain it, the necklace is probably the thing that's cursed. But it didn't seem to have any effect on her. The thing that killed her was the only thing that the wood from that forest was what killed her. She was a damn vampire, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. So the fact that, like, even right now, I know, like, trying to explain it that way, it doesn't really seem like there's no stakes in it. I mean, like, the thing is gonna either get you or you gonna get her. So what kind of stakes is that? Even at least the nun made it seem like you had to put some fucking work in to take her down. Like, this was a demon. Like, this was just a demon that took a form of a nun.
I think the most creepiest aspect about her is that she kills children.
Exactly. That's what I said. And it touches me because I have kids. I'm like, stuff like that affects me. But there was no real stakes beyond that. I mean, the second she kills your kids, she leaves. And then you stab her in the chest and she's gone. That's it. I mean, with the nun, you banish the demon back to hell. What if he gets out again? I mean, like, this, are you ever really safe? Like, that's to me scarier. Annabelle, until they get rid of that damn doll, are you ever safe?
You know they have that doll in Aquaman, the Annabelle doll.
It was in the ocean. Because James Wan was the director. It was one of the things that I heard. It was in the ocean. And it's probably what made all those damn demons down. That's probably where those demons are coming from. They come to the surface, become spirits, and then start fucking with people. It's all connected. I mean, it's not Warner Brothers. It's an independent company, but the director was able to pull it and get permission. I like Easter eggs like that, but I don't know. But that's my theory on
sounds interesting.
I'm telling you, it's worth to check out. I mean, even honestly, even knowing what happens, or kind of know, it's those jump scares and those the best parts. Besides that actor, I said the other best parts of this movie were how the kids and all the kids, the ones who survived or died, how they acted and reacted. That was the best parts of the movie, because not only like a jump, like it's one thing to see something like a scary jump out at the screen for our benefit, and then we go, oh my god. It's another thing to see the reaction. You saw this time the director did the jump scare. It's not only they didn't just show a scream, they instantly showed this is what chilled me. They showed a little boy like the camera, like from the camera angle, like La Llorona is looking down on the boy. Then the camera angle goes from La Llorona's perspective, looking at the boy, and all you see is a terrified little boy instantly jump and scream, and then that's it. Then the camera cuts, so you know something bad happened to that boy. Like that boy's, it wasn't that typical like moment where you just stand still like an idiot and just start screaming. No, he flinched. Like it felt like this director really threw some scary shit at him without him knowing that was about to happen. Like
probably he did.
That jump felt very real. Like I felt like that director did something that boy wasn't expecting and got a real jump out of him and then a real scream out of him. That's what, and it happened more than once. So that was also the best parts of that movie. Those jumps. It wasn't just jump scares for us. It was jumps in the movie that just irked me, because it was like it was happening to kids. So that's why I say yes, go see it, because that will fuck with your head. What else are we going on to moving on? We talked a little bit about Will Smith, huh? and I thought about him almost playing Neo. What did you think about? You said you wanted to.
I haven't seen it. I heard about the video, but I haven't seen it.
But you said you had a. I guess it would have been based on what you saw. I thought you said you had like a theory on what would it have worked to have Will Smith as Neo, and it's like the number one thing that comes up. That's the video, and he did it on his YouTube channel. That's what was so funny about it. Mm-hmm. So I'll let him explain it.
It's not that easy.
Without the commercials.
Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Because people are like, I don't understand why you turned it down. You're looking at it from.
This is one of them stories I'm not proud of, but it's the truth. I did turn down Neo in The Matrix. Hold up, y'all jumping to conclusions. That was a crazy time in my life. It was like, however I threw the ball, it was going in. I had done Independence Day the year before. So I was like, I'm not doing another alien movie. I don't want to be the alien movie guy. So I turned down Men in Black. And Steven Spielberg called me. He was producing. He said, why are you turning down the movie? I was like, I just don't want to be the alien guy. He said, do me a favor. Don't use your brain for this one. Use my brain. He was so serious that I was like, all right, he did do Jaws. You just get in that universal energy and nothing can go wrong. And the other side comes. And then you can't do nothing right. So after we made Men in Black, the Wachowskis, they came in and it was like they had only done one movie. They did a movie, I think it was called Bound. And they came in and they made a pitch for The Matrix.
And as it turns out, they're geniuses. But there's a fine line in a pitch meeting between genius and what I experienced in the meeting.
So this is the actual pitch that they made for The Matrix. So dude, we're thinking like imagine you're in a fight and then you like jump. Imagine if you could stop jumping in the middle of the jump.
Say that again?
But then people could see around you 360 while you're jumping, while you're stop jumping, right? And then we're gonna invent these cameras and then people can see the whole jump while you stop in the middle of the jump. So I made Wild Wild West. I'm not proud of it. Like, you see people that Monday I was walking around, hey guys, sorry. Hey, listen, I'm working on Bad Boys 2. Don't worry about it, sorry. But it ain't like it would have been that. Like Keanu was perfect. Lawrence Fishburne was perfect. If I had done it, because I'm black, then Morpheus wouldn't have been black. Because they were looking at Val Kilmer. So I was gonna be Neo and Val Kilmer was gonna be Morpheus. So I probably would have messed the Matrix up. I would have ruined it. So I did y'all a favor.
Oh man.
That little last bit they showed was good.
Yeah, that from the I Am Legend. So his point of view was the way there's like, imagine you jump and then you stop jumping. Mm-hmm. Like the way you describe it, like if that's how they described it, you ain't describing it. Like like you jump in the air and then we will freeze that image for a split second, and then we'll be able to get different angles of that moment in a 360 situation. But if you kept saying, imagine you jump and then you stop jumping. Like, what the fuck does that mean? He's like, dude, okay, imagine this. You're going to jump, and then you're going to stop jumping. What?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, say that. He's like, say that. Then I can imagine it, because it has never been done before. And it's like, what the fuck do you mean stop jumping?
Stop jumping in the middle.
Am I jumping or not? That's the question. So that I understood. But I would have been, but maybe they would have told him not to do his Will Smith thing, because he wasn't really doing that Will Smith thing in Independence Day. Not really. He did it, and he kind of did it in. I mean, they probably allowed it.
I Am Legend. He strayed away from that.
Yeah, he strayed away from it and whatnot because he didn't fit the story.
Yeah. So I
but
guess
with the Wachowskis weren't as powerful as they are now. Would they have been able to tell a guy on the rise who just came off of the show, who everybody loves is Will Smithisms? Would they have been strong enough or powerful enough or convincing enough to tell Will Smith not to act up that stuff and just to play it straight? Would he have listened? That's the question.
I doubt it, being that he had more of a name than those directors at the time. Or would he have convinced them to no, let's change Neo up and make Neo funny or something like that? We can make this entertaining. Well, not necessarily funny, but have quips.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
have little quips in there.
Neo not having quips worked.
Yes.
Neo just being a regular guy that just become this crazy stuff happened to him made sense to me.
Mm-hmm. The best aspect was he was a fish out of water in this situation, and he was basically the audience. Like, what is going on? Would it have still been the same Trinity? That's the question too. Well, he had himself next to her, so maybe she was already cast. Everything would have been different. I've heard Sandra Bullock was up for that role too.
Yeah,
and
she turned it down.
She turned it down. So
that would have been awesome to me because you just had Keanu and Sandra, and maybe that's why she turned it down because Keanu said yes, and Sandra was like, "We just did a movie together."
If she would have heard Will Smith's name, she would have did it.
Is Sandra Bullock a level 7? She's dated that white dude, but is she dating a black dude now?
She was in Bird Box, and she dated.
I don't care what anybody says. Those scenes were real. Those scenes were real. I don't care what anybody says. That wasn't acting. She is. I don't know why. For years, I've always imagined Sandra Bullock would be married to a black dude. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's just my fantasy coming up. I'm just imprinting myself and stuff, and just hoping that my fiance ain't hearing it. That's all I'm doing.
I always was a big fan of Sandra Bullock. I like all
ever since Love Potion #9. That was my first time introducing myself to Sandra Bullock. They advertised that movie to the guy was the star of the movie and she was the co-star. Now you look up Love Potion #9. You look up Love Potion #9 poster. It's her. It's her in a wedding dress or something like that. It's they're acting like it's her movie now. Like, no, but which is funny to me because she's a bigger name. But ever since that movie, that character, I don't know what it was. Every time I was happy to see her in Speed, and I just kept rooting for her, and she kept growing up, and I was happy. That was one of my actors, one of those from the '90s that still stood the test of time. To this day, is still as powerful as she deserves to be, and winning Oscars and stuff. So that's good.
So he has his own YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, I think he's been had a YouTube channel, but now he's really like promoting and doing stuff on it now.
Oh, wow.
So for the past couple of years, like maybe a year and a half, Will Smith has been doing these videos, and on average, like a million views. I think how many he has 4 million subscribers. I don't think it was that high a couple of months ago. It was like he recently started like taking it seriously and messing with this.
I think social media in general, he's been really pushing.
Because his wife, she's blowing up on Facebook, and he's like, "Well, if you gonna do that, then I'm gonna do this." Because let me look at how many videos he has. He has a lot, but going back 10 months ago, a year. He only started a year ago. Yeah. First million views is for Will Smith pranks fan. Brightnet. Ever since Bright. So he's only had this channel, been messing with it for a year.
I think somebody told him, man, you need to get on that social media.
You would blow up. Like the first couple of videos, first one did 1 million views, 2 million, and then it started. Then on average, just at 1 million. But I bet this was all smaller than that. I bet people went back and started looking at him. But he was doing these videos, but they weren't really. People weren't taking it seriously. I think maybe he saw what The Rock has been doing for the past I don't know how long, and The Rock started taking over social media and stuff. He's like, I can do that too. And you remember that back in the day that Vin Diesel used to be one of the biggest social media kings, like through Facebook. Before YouTube was the thing. Like on Facebook, Vin Diesel was the one always posting videos and on Instagram and stuff. When he first got signed to Marvel, you know, he was the one. He was a source to go to. Like, oh, Vin Diesel just posted this, Vin Diesel posted that, and The Rock. Then when The Rock did it, his channel just
blew up, and
nobody talks about Vin Diesel's channel anymore. It's like no, it's like let me type it in. Let's see what happens.
Speaking of Will Smith though, I'm looking to that towards that Bad Boys for Life movie.
Are they still gonna call it that?
Yeah, so far. I haven't seen no
Vin
changes.
Diesel doesn't have, so it's Facebook, right? That Vin Diesel was heavily. Vin Diesel was most heavily influential on Facebook. I think Bad Boys for Life should be for the 4th movie. I don't think they should call it Bad. And are they still going to do the Bad Boys spinoff with the sister? I heard that was either going to be a TV show or is it Diesel?
Yeah. The first time I've ever seen Vin Diesel in anything was The Boiler Room, and I love that.
Yeah, that's my movie. 98 million.
Wow.
Either was it likes or followers? I guess that's almost the same thing in a way.
Yeah.
Like Vin
He's
Diesel.
such a nut.
Yeah, because he played it up that he's a big dude. Mm-hmm. He's a geek for real. Mm-hmm. And now he's blowing up with the Marvel movies and Fast and the Furious movies. And he was like crushing it on Facebook.
If you ask the average fan, a lot of people do not know he's Groot. Yeah,
he plays it down so well. Yeah, because he was also supposed to be in the Eternals, not is it in what's that movie? That was a TV series.
He's supposed to be Black Bolt.
Yeah, and that failed very badly. But look at this. Not following 95 million follows, 98 million likes. So as far as Facebook, he's crushing it. Like, I don't even think The Rock is that high up on 57 million. So Vin Diesel almost has twice as many followers on Facebook.
And I think that's just because he's been there longer.
He's been doing it on Facebook longer. And it used to be a thing. Oh shit, Vin Diesel just posted something else on Facebook. It was a thing to do that. But then when The Rock came in, he started fucking with all the other social medias, YouTube, Twitter, and all that stuff. That was it. Nobody really talked about. I don't know, man. I think Vin Diesel should go back to posting the way he used to, and go, I don't know. I don't feel like anybody's talking about it anymore.
What about this new movie Rock doing, Hobbs and Shaw? What do you think?
I think that like remember back in the day, it was Fast and Furious used to be all about like 90-something% about the cars and the races and stuff, and then 10% about whatever else was going on and stuff. And then as it went on after Part 3. That started to change. Part 4, it was like 75% about the races and then 25% about the story. Part 5, it felt like almost 50-50, if not 60% the story and it becoming a bigger thing and these heists and stuff. And then 40% about the cars and the racing. And then Part 6, it was like 70-30 and then 80-20. And it's like barely a race in there now, right? And now it's all about like these heists and saving the world and stuff now.
And spy
stuff. Like, now, they came from street racers to spies. So I think now that Hobbs and Shaw, it's almost like from the trailer alone, you almost didn't even see a car really all that much. Not driven by the heroes. You saw him in a truck.
I think he went in a trailer. It says he goes home and he tells his mom, "We need some cars." I do remember him saying, "We need some guns. We need some cars."
Okay, but I still think but after seeing that trailer, I'm like, they're like 95 or 90% this new way of doing it, and 5%. And then they showed the NOS thing and stuff, and I'm like, all right, there's that, but still, it's like they barely
almost going to the superhero realm.
Yeah. Now they got superpowers.
Not almost.
He called himself Black Superman, so that's pretty much it. The funny thing is, everybody was complaining about it. It's they got superpowers. In John Campbell said it a long time ago. The only thing that they haven't done is superpowers and gone into space. Well, they just introduced superpowers, and not only that, LJW was like he calls himself Superman, so they acknowledged it. So I would not be surprised.
Yeah, they're going to space.
They're gonna go to space. The very last movie,
they're going to space.
He's like, we got to get this that shuttle.
I'm surprised. Well, I guess they can't do that. I was gonna say I'm surprised they didn't do a XXX Fast Furious can't because
it's probably different studios and I don't think Universal. Does Universal do XXX?
I don't know
who produces.
But you can't have Vin Diesel play
two characters. Yeah, because I mean,
unless you
even Ice Cube's. I heard I didn't watch the last XXX movie, but I heard Ice Cube made a cameo.
Yeah, he did.
So
I enjoyed the last XXX.
I'm gonna have to watch it because I didn't want to. That actress who wasn't she the girl, the assassin that was in John Wick 2, the girl with the tattoos. That's now playing Batgirl. I love her.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about her, but she is awesome. Man. Ever since I saw her in Orange is the New Black, I was like, there's something about her. I didn't know anything about her, but I like the way she carried herself and conducted herself. Who produces the? Watch, I gotta be careful how I type this because XXX could be anything. Janet Jack me. XXX movie. Let's see. There you go. And all of a sudden, XXX returns. Let's see. XXX series. So there's been 3 movies. Ours and Steady Union.
Produced by
what studio? Production. Revolution Studios, Original Films, One Race Films. I guess Columbia Pictures, Paramount.
Okay.
So and Fast and Furious is Universal.
Yeah.
And they could, but they wouldn't. Yeah. They probably wouldn't. That's no point to it. But yeah, if that whole Vin Diesel thing, like it would be funny. He was like, you look, yeah. I did not. My cousin, it turns out, and that was one of my criticisms about the last Fast and the Furious trailer. That okay, everybody's like mad, like no justice for Han. Jason Statham kills Han, and now he's in the family.
He's good guy.
But not only that, but he's bringing more family in it. Like he's like, you have a brother, you have a mom. Now with this trailer, now you got a sister. Do you just you bringing more family in it, and everybody it's probably a good thing that Han's girlfriend died in the movie before because she would have been pissed. That's Wonder Woman. That's what's her name? Wasn't it? Gal Gadot. Yeah, it was her. If Gal Gadot would have still been alive, she would have been pissed.
I just took upon him, added him, and
no justice for Han. It ain't happening. But hey, if you like it, I love it. It's just still Jason Statham though. So, what do you think about the whole thing about Tyrese being upset about all that? Like he feeling like he would have got the spinoff. It would have.
They going with names, Tyrese. They going with names, the bigger names, man.
I honestly feel like because Vin Diesel was supposed to be in part 2, but then they replaced him with Tyrese. They asked Ja Rule to be in part 2 to play his character that he played in part 1, but they got Ludacris, and they instead of calling Ludacris that same person, they just gave him a different name. So even Ja Rule could have I think after that fire incident thing that happened, I don't think that's ever going to happen now. Ja Rule ain't ever coming back to that. I've always wanted him to come back because of that whole
I don't think I seen that one with Ja Rule.
The first Fast and the Furious movie?
That's the first one?
Yeah, the very first movie, the very first race. He was talking to Paul Walker. It's not about how you stand next to your car. It's how you drive your car. You better remember that. The best part of the whole, the best part of the movie when the girl goes up to Ja Rule and says, if you whether you win or lose, you can have me, but if you win, you can have me and my friend over here. And then when Vin Diesel or Paul Walker, he's winning the race, and then Vin Diesel, Paul Walker pass it, they hit the knots and pass Ja Rule up, and he's thinking about Monica, the girl that he's about to have. In the beginning, before the race goes, he goes, "Let's go, Menage!" And he starts driving. And then when he starts to lose, he's like, "No." Monica. And then at the end of the race, he lost. He tried to holler at her, and she like, "Fuck you, nigga, you didn't win." That's exactly what she said.
I need to go back and I need to go back because I remember Ja Rule being in one of them.
It was Fast and Furious 1. He was that character was supposed to come back and be his connect in Florida, but he asked for too much money. And he was like, "I'm making all this money with murder and all that stuff, so I need more money because I'm so famous." And they were like, "No, fuck that. This is a lower budget movie. No, fuck that." They asked Ludacris. He said, "Cool." And it's like, playing the same character? No, we'll call you a different character. So they left the door open for the future. And I'm sure when Fast and Furious started blowing up with The Rock and stuff, I'm sure Ja Rule was like, "Fuck, I want to be in there now." And Ludacris has been in each and every one since part 4 or 5 or whatever, when they started bringing it all together. The first Avengers, really, if you may ask me, the first time this cinematic universe really thing started really popping off. But
I'm surprised they didn't bring Bow Wow back.
They brought back the guy he was with in part 3 as a connection with Han. For a little bitty tie-in. They even brought back the girl from the cop from part 2 with The Rock and all that for a little connection, so she can always come back if she wants. Forgot her name. That Hispanic actress, real fine. She was in All About the Benjamins with Ice Cube. But Ja Rule, I always wanted him to come back. They could if they wanted to, but I think after that fire incident, I think they're gonna stay away from. I think I don't think I wouldn't even me who loved his character. After that, I'm like, fuck, nah.
Did you see that incident that happened to him at the basketball game
with nobody in the audience or something?
Well, it was people in the audience, but he was like,
it was only 12 people.
No, it was a basketball game, so it was a bunch of people. He came out during halftime. He used to perform for halftime, and he was singing his song, "Hey, trying to get everybody real pumped."
Nobody was excited.
It was dead silent.
Where y'all at? Go to the bathroom.
He said,
"What's my motherfucking name?"
Okay.
He acknowledged it. He already got paid. It all damn well matter. That's one thing that Charlamagne the God said that I actually agree with. Everybody is dissing Ja Rule, and 50 Cent keeps relentlessly fucking with him, and he owes these back taxes, but he's still steadily getting money. 50 Cent trolling him and buying out those seats to make them look empty because they were so cheap. You still bought them. I'd have gone out there, even if you told me that we sold out the crowd and the money came in showing that we sold out and there was only one guy out there, I'd still go out there and sing.
Give him one guy the best performance.
It'd be the best show of his life. He'd come backstage. He'd have I would follow him on Instagram, everything. He would get the best treatment ever. Like, come on, I would put him on stage and we'd be singing all the songs together, and we would record it and make him the biggest star in his school and whatnot. And because you still got the same money
you was gonna get.
Yeah, it's not like he got the money of one seat. Like 50 Cent bought the rest of clown him. Fine, all right, you can keep clowning me. You technically paid Ja Rule to make fun of him. In the end, it's gonna benefit 50, but you still put a lot of money in Ja Rule's pocket.
50 Cent is a funny character, man.
He said that he would, a long time ago, he said that he would sign Ja Rule to G. Yeah, he said, why would you say that? He said, because I want to destroy him and then I will rebuild him. Like I will remake him. But I think that was a limited time offer. But I think he was serious because he said he was gonna do the same thing with Mace. He remember when we briefly signed Mace. He said he wanted to bring Murder Mace back and all that, but then that didn't work out. So I think it was a genuine offer, but that means Ja Rule would have had to take the knee. Yeah. I honestly believe though, if he would,
you know what's so funny? My uncle is real good friends with Ja Rule and Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti. Chris Gotti, he's real good. My uncle, he's real good friends. He's the most hot smoozer I ever seen. He knows everybody for some reason. He is good friends with the Rockets equipment manager, and how he even got to meet Ja Rule and them. My uncle, he would always go to the games and get these press passes, and so he sitting in the good seats, right? And one time he had like a row empty seats, just because he just went to the game by himself. He had a bunch of free empty seats, and those press passes allow him to go into the back and
Yeah.
everything.
Backstage pass.
And he going in the back ran into Ja Rule, and he heard there's a big fuss going on, and they was the fuss was he wanted his bodyguard to sit with him where he was at, and they wouldn't let him. They said, no, it's your bodyguard's ticket is wait for a seat way up there. And my uncle was hearing this. He said, man, how about y'all all sit with me? He's like, where y'all sitting?
Yeah.
And he's like, he showed him, I'm sitting right there in the front. He said, oh, okay. They all, and Ashanti was there too. So it was Ja Rule, Ashanti, and the bodyguard.
Yeah.
They all said afterwards, they got all cool with each other.
Dang.
And
ever since then, they've always
kept in touch.
Yeah. So I mean, people, so like, people always throw that word celebrity around as if that means untouchable or not human or not willing to. I mean, they just, once they shed off the threat of are you one of those guys that's gonna be extra around me and stuff. Once they get that out of the way, and then they realize that there's a conversation that we could probably have that I that's funny or I feel. Then that's it. They might, y'all could exchange phone numbers if they sense that you ain't gonna be you know sharing it and stuff. Y'all could become real close friends and whatnot. That's, I mean, people don't realize that it's all about the there's probably people that a celebrity, they probably run into people that they become the best friends with, but they would never know because you can't take the chance.
Exactly.
They'll probably meet a person, get an autograph, they'll never see that person again. But that could have been like a best friend soulmate that they just walked out the door. They can't take the chance because that dude also could be crazy.
A stalker.
He's the guy that's gonna be eating your skin, trying to absorb your powers because you was in that movie he liked. like that's the thing you got to worry about. But I don't know, man. But but at the end of it though, dude, next week, man. You said you got your ticket.
Oh,
for Endgame.
Oh yeah.
What you think's gonna happen?
Because of Endgame, I've been staying off of social media.
You said you got spoiled on one thing.
Yeah, I did, man. But I'm so hyped for the film, it doesn't even matter.
Was it that same? Well, I guess we don't know because he didn't mention it. I've been watching on YouTube where Robert Meyer Burnett was saying that he was spoiled on something that happened in the end, but it wasn't. It was a spoiler that he wished he didn't hear, but it still doesn't. It doesn't matter.
It's probably the same.
Probably one of the same things. Which if you listen to all the people who made the movie, they said there's a lot of stuff that could be there's a lot of significant stuff that could be spoiled here, could be spoiled there. So. You can be spoiled on the whole movie.
The thing is, they are spoiling so much stuff in the trailers. Honestly,
you think they're spoiling stuff?
Yes, they spoiling a lot of stuff in the trailers.
You don't know until you watch it.
Well, I'll give you for one, and nobody get mad at me because it's in the trailer.
Like what scene in the trailer you talking about?
Like, okay, I feel like they should have never showed Tony with the.
I think people are saying that might be a misdirect. Because remember how they showed the Incredible Hulk running with them and stuff, and that was never in there. Somebody even on YouTube did a side-by-side thing where it showed all the things that were not in the movie but showed on the trailer, misdirects and stuff. So people think that was digitally done.
I bet money that's not a misdirect.
You think that's a real
thing? Because it just makes sense
that they eventually all get together. I've heard that the plan, there might be a plan of. They do eventually get together, but I think that they might, because remember on Infinity War there was pretty much 2 or 3 groups through the whole film. They never really ever all got together, but they all had one goal. I think that's why this movie is 3 hours long. I think the majority of the movie is going to be that same exact way, and then at the very end is when everybody's going to get together. But I don't think that walk to the ship thing. I don't think that's the end. I think that's the middle or the beginning.
Well, they said. Most of what they're showing is 30 minutes of the beginning.
So
within the 30 minutes of the beginning. So.
I think it's a mystery. Yeah, Tony eventually does probably get home, and they all probably staying in the same room together. But I think it's going to be after a couple fights.
Even with the posters that they came out with, where they show the people who's alive and the people who got snapped, they shouldn't even. Came out with those posters.
Oh, we already knew. We saw them getting. Oh, you mean the people we didn't see turn to dust?
We didn't see turn to dust. Like, let that be
revealed in the thing.
The biggest spoiler is Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Well, that's two different companies. You're not gonna convince Sony to not advertise their movie.
But hey, Sony, come on.
but then they're gonna be like, but Jason, come on, we just spent $300 million.
Yes,
we got to get this money back.
That's fine, but hey, after April 26th, let's go.
You think that the Spider-Man trailer shouldn't have dropped until next week?
Next week, because it showed two people who was snapped away in that movie.
It showed Nick Fury and
Peter
Spider-Man.
Parker. Yeah.
But the fact that the movie was greenlit in that movie. That news came out years ago.
Yeah,
that movie was greenlit. But the movie was greenlit before we saw Infinity War. But so you knew Far From Home was coming.
Anything could happen. It could be a whole new dimension of Spider-Man.
That still could be the situation. For all we know. So that's why I don't see that as a spoiler. That was the first spoiler because we didn't know people were about to get snapped. We assumed, I guess, because we were about to see some Infinity Wars. But the non-comic book reading audience, none of them knew that a snap was coming. So they saw Spider-Man Homecoming. It was like, oh, they're gonna make a sequel to this. This made so much money. That was a good Spider-Man. Hey, part 2 is coming. That's great. Oh, let's watch Infinity Wars. Spider-Man got dead. What the fuck?
Black Panther.
Those movies just
made $1 billion.
So what the heck? Spider-Man Far From Home made what, 800 or 900?
About 800. Yeah,
but they're predicting that Far From Home is.
I think it's going to make $1 billion. Yeah.
So no, I don't think it was spoiler. I think maybe that was probably a mystery, but at the same time, who knows? They could have we could have been seeing a bunch. People saying time travel. People saying that scene where Ant-Man was like going to the Avenger building and looking up at the camera. That was probably in the past before Tony bought that building out and stuff. They think that maybe when he got out of the quantum realm, he might have jumped in the past first. And that was a recording from years ago. And he was the first person talking about, hey, Avengers, hey, why is it 1985 right now? What's going on? And then he probably found his way back. Shit, for all we know, we might find, we could probably bump into an old...
I'm putting it on the table right now. I think this is going to be the best superhero movie of all time.
That's above The Dark Knight? Above Infinity?
Yes.
I'm
putting it on the table right now.
I think it's going to become the number 2 high grossing film of all time. John doesn't feel like it can reach 3 because he doesn't. I mean, the top
number 1.
It can top.
Number 1 is
20.
I think it's out of reach.
700.
Number 1 is.
But how did it make it though? Because people just kept going back to the movie.
About. See, it's a big possibility because even with myself, I've already got two tickets.
I'm not saying like fans like us. I mean, like the reason why Titanic and Avatar did so well was because regular people just
kept on going.
But Avatar, I can understand Titanic because it was historical, it was a true story, and it was a great story that James Cameron told. So that movie started off. I think it debuted and made like 50 million the first week, and then it slowly just started.
But that was word of mouth. That was all word of mouth.
And the drop off from week 1 to week 2 wasn't happening. It was increasing audiences and repeat business, and people just kept. It was a love story that people could just keep going and seeing, and that sad shit at the end. That explains Titanic.
The actors too. Leonardo DiCaprio was a big name at that time.
That explains Titanic. How did Avatar do it though?
I think with Avatar,
because it was science fiction. But that worked in its benefit.
Yes,
but it wasn't. It was. Even James Cameron admitted it was. It was Dancing. What's that movie he did? Was it Dances with Wolves? It was Dances with Wolves in space.
It's Dancing with the Wolves, Pocahontas
in space. Yeah. It was the exact same. So you got a story that's been told before. It's science fiction. Not everybody likes 3D, and it was a 3D thing that jumped the sales up because there was a lot more 3D screenings back then too. Okay, but
and then
the repeat business.
I think it was word of mouth again.
It was that good.
Yeah, it was that good. Go and see it.
But I guarantee
if you could look up what year that came out and see if it came
It was 2009.
2009. What year did Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park, come out?
Jurassic Park had that same energy behind it, but that repeat business didn't. And this
and the reason why
and then that was back when it was. I
want to say Jurassic Park was the 90s.
It was, Jurassic Park. The first Jurassic Park came out like 93 or 92 or 94 because it was a step up in the
93.
Yeah, and
I think it was the special effects of
it never looked that real before
exactly.
Ever. And they even delayed bringing it out on on tape for a while because they thought it was too much for home.
Wow.
So the build up to watch it at home was so great and significant too. How much money did that movie make though? I should Wikipedia it. But it still throws me off. Okay, so it's in the 90s. Budget wise, where's that budget at? Damn it, where is it? Jurassic Park. So 400 pages.
That's the book. If you want to go to Box Office Mojo, usually they'll tell you the budget and how much it made gross.
63 million budget, $1 billion. That's the kind of return you want.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first movies, like one of the only group of movies that hit $1 billion back then.
And then that name too.
Jurassic Park was.
I'm talking about with Avatar, the director.
James Cameron. Yeah, he did. Yeah, because they didn't expect it. They didn't expect it to happen with Titanic, and he put that much energy into Avatar as well, and it paid off. But he didn't strike while the iron was hot on the sequels and stuff. But
I don't even think it's going. If he comes out with a sequel, I don't think it's going to make that much. It's going to make money.
It's going to make $1 billion. It's going to make $1 billion. I think it will make $1 billion, but I don't think it's going to still. It's never going to come close. It won't make more than Titanic. It won't even. I don't even think it'll be in the top 5 right now. I don't think Avatar 2 will come close to that because now that all these other movies are making billions of dollars. Was it top grossing movies? Highest grossing films of all time. It'll probably make $1 billion, but that's it. And because now the stakes have been raised so much, that's it. That's why are these? Is this an old? Is this inflation? What the fuck is this?
you know you ain't looking at the right number when you see the Sound of Music.
Yeah, Sound of Music. yeah. After people have bought the tape so many years, the Sound of Music is gonna be up there. Like technically, didn't they say that technically the Wizard of Oz is the #1 movie or something like that because of how many people have bought it and rewatched?
I love the Wizard of Oz.
That's just like saying the Bible is the #1 seller. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You got all these damn churches and stuff. If people buy and hotels buy Bibles like nothing, that's never gonna stop being the #1 selling book. But highest grossing what films of all time. Wow. What is this list? Here are the 20 highest grossing films of all time. Okay. It's still Avatar. 20. Okay, so all right, from number 20. So you got to look at your top 5. Top 10 pretty much. Number 10 still Harry Potter, The Potter Deadly Hallows Part 2. Black Panther. And it's what, $1 billion?
Yep.
Everybody that's in the top 10 is $1 billion. Everybody's in $1 billion category. So even when you see the difference between Black Panther and Harry Potter is like what? $1 million. That's crazy. There's only $1 million difference right there between and then there's only $5 million difference, $6 million difference between Age of Ultron and Black Panther.
And you know what? Age of Ultron, they trick people. Because that wasn't one of the best Avenger movies.
Because it was coming off of what's it called, and the advertisement was so good. So that's my point of you talked about Jurassic Park and the build up or Avatar and from the build up of James Cameron making his big movie after his last big movie. Nobody expected.
It was such a switch up too from Titanic
to this.
Yeah.
And James Cameron going underwater and doing all that stuff, and he's like, James Cameron's doing some weird stuff. So we bet against him before. He made the highest grossing film of all time. Then he did it again. So nobody's ever gonna doubt James Cameron ever again. Not even with Avatar 2. I don't doubt he'll hit $1 billion. I don't think he's gonna top Avatar 1 or Titanic because he's gotta surpass Fast and Furious 7, Avengers. Wait, how was Fast and Furious 7 at? Oh, it's at 152. This was also at 152. So Avengers
probably just beat him just a little bit.
That a nudge. Jurassic World, which was a breakout out of nowhere, nobody expected that, and that was 2018. 1.6 billion, and then Avengers: Infinity War hit $2 billion.
And this is why
that's the top five. The top five alone, you can't really. It's hard to break into that. It probably will break into the top 10 of Avatar 2. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna. It definitely won't get here to Avengers: Infinity War.
This is a whole new generation that has to
kids who never saw Avengers. Avatar, and us people who did see Avatar, we got over it. Like somebody said, look at all the people who after Avatar came out. Look at all the people dressed up like Na'vi during Halloween that year. Now, how many people dressed up as Na'vi the year after? And then the year after that, and then the year after that, and then it's been what 9? It's been 10 years. Nobody can, exactly.
That they really gonna have to do some.
Yeah. So you telling me after 10 years of people not giving a shit, it's gonna make $2 billion? No way. Star Wars, $2 billion, another phenomenon.
And then you have Episode 9 coming out. That's gonna make 9
after the controversy, and it depends on how the trailers are starting to come out, and people are happy with it. It might break the top 5 because number 5 is just 1.6 mil. But I don't think it's gonna beat Force Awakens. Because Force Awakens was like, oh my god, we're happy that this is all happening. That was a phenomenon.
I mean, you brought the original people back.
Yeah, that was a phenomenon on its own. So for it to hit number 3 under Titanic and Avatar technically means it's number 1 because these were number 1 and number 2 were freaking what's the word? Not phenoms or not outliers, but just these were just what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Like it was. He's not outlier, but wait, 2.1 bill. 2.0. It almost Star Wars Force Awakens almost beat Titanic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It came close.
If Titanic is at 2.1 billion or almost at 2.2 billion, I think Endgame will beat Titanic.
I've been hearing people
say easily.
I've been hearing people saying $3 billion. And I think that's impossible.
That's the $3 billion is the only way. Well, $3 billion beats. It'll be the number 1. I think it's impossible.
I think it's impossible. For one thing, the runtime of the movie.
The runtime, because people aren't going to want to sit down for 3 hours again. People sat down. People sat down for 2 hours again for Avatar.
It depends on how good.
I feel like if a big enough camp. I mean, because everything comes down to this movie, right? Everything that's been done. I think if that energy still stays up there, 2.7 bill. It's possible, but it's just not likely, especially after all the spoilers that are coming out, and that wasn't happening with Avatar. No. Well, there was nothing really.
There was no social media.
It wasn't. I mean, it was 2009, so I mean, Twitter and all that stuff was not. It was there. It just wasn't
popping like that.
Facebook was, but 2009. Yeah. Vin Diesel, remember he's almost 1 billion followers. Yeah, Facebook was the Social Network came out in 2000. The movie The Social Network. Social Network.
Yeah. I think you're right because I remember in 2000 I was on.
No, Facebook has been around for a long time. The Social Network came out in 2010 to talk about Facebook, and people were Facebooking each other back then like that.
But it's nothing like it is now.
It's nothing like it is now. Ever since 2015, Twitter and all that stuff became a whole different beast. It all depends on the repeat business. It all depends on
if the movie's good or not.
Good.
Yeah.
Stan Lee's death helps it too. Will it? The final cameo?
This is his final cameo. Yeah. It's got the recipe.
Beat Titanic.
It's got the recipe.
It's got the momentum. It's got the recipe. It's got the tools. It's got the talent. It's just that people were buying a bunch of 3D tickets for that Avatar movie, and that's what helped boost those sales. I think if you take away the 3D ticket sales from this, and if those were just regular seats, I think Avatar is under Titanic. Yeah, I think honestly, Avatar should be number 4, and whatnot. But it was such a. But look, they pushed it for 3D.
Look at the CGI of what they was doing.
Yeah, it was a perfect. That's why it was perfectly marketed for 3D. And I'm not even gonna lie, I saw it in 3D.
You did?
And I thought that the way they did it was almost the only option.
Yeah.
That was another thing. That's why I feel like that 2.7 is an outlier, because it was almost the only way to see that movie at the time. And then people kind of complained. It was like, this is not necessary. You're forcing it on us. And then they dialed it down. You put as many 3D screens on The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is the number 1 movie of all time. That's $3 billion. If all of that would have been 3D, as much as it was for Avatar, that's $3 billion right there. That should have made $3 billion. Endgame, $3 billion. Infinity War probably would have been $3 billion. It's the only thing that explains why Avatar is so close to $3 billion is all those 3D screens. But there's not that many 3D. Now it's Dolby Digital and IMAX and stuff. But I don't know. And Avatar 2 is going to be in the top 10. It will not break the top 5. It won't. No way near. I bet money that it would not.
Nah.
I think
it's just too long.
There's so many things working against it. The fact that 3D thing alone for Endgame to crack the 3 billion, the will of the people. If we all get together and all promise to, if everybody in America, if every adult in every major country buys a ticket, this movie can make $10 billion. There's like how many adults are there on the planet that have screens and movie screens and whatnot? If every adult or every person capable of buying a movie ticket were to buy a movie ticket, this movie makes $10 billion. That's all that has to happen. The numbers are there. Yes. Are the moviegoers gonna go? And will they keep going for the next 4 months? That was the thing that Titanic had going for it. For months. It stayed in theaters for like months, longer than it should have. This is such a phenomenon because it's the culmination of 22 movies, 10 years. I'm gonna go watch Captain Marvel again right before I see Endgame. I'm playing that. I'm gonna watch it for the 3rd time. People, and before going to see Far From Home. Will people go back to watch thing again? Yes, that could push it. It's the opportunity is there. The numbers aren't, but the opportunity is. So I don't know. I guess let's find out what the best thinks.
Whatever end credit scene that they have,
it won't be an X-Men thing.
I don't think so. But what if it's something leading off to something Fox property? Former Fox property. I don't know. Blade. Daredevil. All of a sudden, the contract from Netflix says that they're not allowed to, for 2 years. They're not allowed to use any of those properties. Oh wow! After we cancel it off of Netflix, you're not allowed to use it on the big screen or TV for 2 years. Oh wow! So the first thing would be Daredevil, but they wrapped making this movie well within that 2 year period. I think what they're going to show is they're going to show something about the Eternals.
That's the only because they're still casting for that. It'll probably be one of those Easter eggs where you see a thing or a prop or a name or something, but you're not going to see a character and whatnot. Who knows? They could end it off with a message, an old message from Stan Lee, an old recording where he's talking to us as the fans and said, thank you for sharing your. This whole I think that's possible. They could have a two mid-credit scenes related to future movies, and then the very last thing, or maybe the very first thing you see is and the very last thing you see is Stan Lee talking to us and the crowd. Be cool. That would be a cool thing to do, and like he's like a farewell. That's because they said that his last thing was with Far From Home, and they decided to cut that to make his last thing with Avengers.
And I don't agree with that. For the simple fact that I think it should have been with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is the character he's mostly related to when you think of Stan Lee. Mm-hmm. But symbolically, I think it does make sense because the Avengers was 100% Marvel's. And it was never shared. They distributed it the first one, like Iron Man and all that with Paramount, because they still needed a distributor until Disney finally helped them fix that and whatnot. But even though that little one asterisk, it was still never disputed who owned the Avengers. So I think it makes it. I know what you're saying because, like you said, Spider-Man is more related to Stan Lee. When you think of Stan, you think of Spider-Man. But bigger than that, when you think of Stan, you think of Marvel. And there's no dispute who owns the Avengers when it comes to that. So I think it makes more sense because the fact that even though you're giving this the last one that he did, and you're giving it to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's his favorite character and all that stuff, you're still kind of giving credit to Sony. You're letting Sony control that. But with the Avengers, there's no dispute. We control this. Marvel is in charge, and there's nobody gonna take that. I think that's why I feel like that's probably why they did it. I agree. I feel like if that was his last one, let that one be his last one with Spider-Man. But I understand why they like we want it to be here, so don't use that. And Sony. Sony didn't have to say yes. If Sony has the footage, they could use it. But I feel like that agreement that they have, they were like, all right, we'll honor that. But if Sony wants to be dicks, they'd be like, yeah. And all of a sudden it comes out, hey, true believers, guess what? Fuck that. We're going to do it anyway. That would be funny as well. That would be a dick move. But I would laugh. But I can't wait to see it, though. All right, man. I guess let's find out what everybody else does, man. I'm gonna get back to it and get to work on some other stuff. What are you about to get into? And where can everybody find you, man?
Oh, you can find me at Facebook. We are the sneak preview guys there. You could just type in sneak preview. Will be the first thing come up.
And as always, you can always check me out here on YouTube. T3 Media's. I'm also going to be doing a lot more with the Facebook group. I just did some changes to the group, so you want to post anything, not just movie related stuff, but TV, hot topics, anything. Just post it to the Facebook group at T3 Media's, and there's a T3 Media's page, and there's a T3 Media's group. I want to interact with more people on that as well. Until next time, guys. Peace. Whoa, hey, before I forget, am I even wearing the same clothes? Doesn't even matter. Movie magic. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. Like if you like, share if you care, comment for a compliment, subscribe to the tribe, and if you want to know more about how you can send me a message and be a part of We Got Your Mail, that's coming up right here. Check this out.